Okay, we're connecting.
Yes, we are live on YouTube. I see.
All right. So, welcome to Shypanther and Friends, everybody. I am Shypanther. I'm your host. Hang on one second. I'm gonna. Okay, we're connecting.
Yes, we are.
All right. I had to. Okay, now I had to turn the volume off so it wouldn't be like double talking on us on YouTube. All
Okay.
right, welcome everybody to Shy Panther and Friends. I'm your host, Shy Panther. And tonight is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. And we have beautiful weather here in Chicago this evening, even though we have rain. We have, I think it's got to be at least 70 degrees. I'm on the north side. So it's always a little bit cooler here. So, and tonight we have a special guest, Andrea. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name. Andrea.
It's Andrea NaTay Drane.
Andrea. Okay, NaTay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it occurred to me today that you probably said you probably pronounced it Andrea. So we have
Yes.
Andrea Drane here tonight with us this evening. And a little bit about Shy Panther and Friends. We are an independent media organization, and our goal is to uplift, to educate, and empower. And we do that by providing quality, inspiring, entertaining programming, as such as what you're going to see tonight. And I hope that all the other shows have been the same. Um, and in case you want to reach out to me at shypanthermedia@gmail.com, and you can follow us, Shy Panther and Friends, on YouTube, and on Instagram is at Shy Panther 829. Also Twitter, Shy Panther 829. So thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Please share. And before you leave, you don't have but a few minutes to spend. Please hit that subscribe button so every time we air, and you can join us each and every time. So, Andrea, welcome to Shy Panther and Friends. It's my first time meeting you. No, actually,
Thank you.
second time.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, because I met you at one of the fundraisers or one of the networking breakfasts at with Natalie. I'm pretty sure it was
Yes.
Natalie. Yeah. So, and I
Yes.
didn't get to learn a whole lot about what you were doing, but at that time, I think you were organizing maybe, or you had already organized one of the first 5K races in Englewood.
The
So,
first. Yes.
okay, that was the first. All right.
Yeah.
So, so what have you been up to in all of this time?
Well, let me see. 2018 was the last race that I
Okay.
that I organized. That was from 2014 into 2018. So 5 years consecutively, we had Englewood 5K. And then in 2019, I didn't organize any 5K races. And it's 2020, and we won't be having the 5K, Englewood 5K this year either.
Oh wow. Well, is there any particular reason you are not having it right now?
Well, I wanted to make a greater impact, basically. So once I realized that I had the power to get 1,000 people to run in the streets of Englewood and also work with the city of Chicago, I thought like, okay, that's good, but that's not great. That's a one-time event. So I wanted to step back to figure out how do I make a greater impact. So now I've been working and saving my money towards buying a school. I want a school in
Hmm.
Chicago because there's so many vacant schools in Chicago, and I want to repurpose one into a construction trade school so that
Okay.
African American men in Chicago between the ages of 18 and 25, almost 50% of them are either unemployed or underemployed. This was before or COVID-19. And also in the city of Chicago, there's a shortage of laborers, construction laborers, such as like plumbers, electricians, etc. So I wanted to put the two together, like, well, there's a demand and there's a shortage, then how would you solve that problem? So an affordable construction trade school. So that's what I've been focusing on for the last year and a half.
Wow, that sounds great. Now, um, wow, that's a huge number, 50% underemployed or either underemployed or unemployed.
Yes.
So yeah, and that was like you said, even before COVID-19. So I mean, we hear all types of stories every single day on the updates about what we should expect. And what we've been hearing is more unemployment to be expected. So it's almost unimaginable how we're going to move forward from this, how we're going to manage to recover.
Right.
You know. Okay.
So that's what
So
I've been working on.
okay. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about when you decided that I mean, Chicago, we big for all of the marathons. And so what happened that you decided, how about we have our own in Englewood? And you got all these people involved. Of course, you had the mayor's office and everything. So what made you believe that this is something that you would do and that the people of Englewood would come together and participate?
Well, because I was born and raised in Englewood, and also I saw the Bank of America Marathon on TV one time, and I was like, well, why don't they run through my community? And they don't, still to this day, don't run through Englewood. So I said, well, since they don't run through Englewood, then we create our own race. But a marathon is a tad bit for beginner runners. So I know the population in Englewood, and a lot of us are beginner runners. So that's why I started with a 5K, because a 5K is nothing but 3.1 miles
Yeah.
opposed to a marathon. So I saw the marathon on TV and I thought, why don't they run through my community? And since they don't, I created our own run.
Right. I think that's really cool. And you're right. They do go through a lot of you till this day don't do Inglewood. Isn't that something? Wow. And along
Yeah.
with kind of decentralizing the summer events, they kind of put different events in the different neighborhoods now. I'm not sure if they hold anything in Inglewood. Like when they have the summer festivals, they have
Yeah.
this move them around the city, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking at another thing you said that the slogan was "Ditch the weight and the guns." So I like that. So can you talk a little bit more
Thank
about?
you. Sure. Okay, so when I first organized the first one in 2014, I am not a runner. So let's just put that out there. I'm not a runner. I kind of stumbled into organizing. Um, so when I first thought of it, someone was like, well, you have to run for a cause. And I was like, why we can't just run? And sadly, Englewood is synonymous with gun violence. So I said, well,
Mhm.
let's tackle two things simultaneously, obesity and gun violence, which are two things that plagues Englewood. African American women, African Americans in general, we're more prone to heart disease, diabetes, and cancer than anyone else. The rates of our cancer and diabetes is skyrocketing compared to others, and it could be prevented. A lot of it could be prevented with physical activity and nutrition. So I knew that gun violence is sensational. So I needed something to be sensational as well. So that's where the guns came in at. So Ditch the Weight and Guns, Englewood 5K walk around.
I like that, yeah, because I was gonna say that's something that's not just particular to Inglewood is most of our African American community or minority communities. You could say we have a problem with weight and we have a problem with violence. So
Absolutely.
so yeah. So how so you were told that you needed to center it around an issue or a cause. So was it a huge thing to have to pull together? Did you have to get a bunch of people to help you do this, or how easy was it to get it together?
It wasn't easy at all. I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't know how to. No one showed me how to. So I had to create the blueprint. And you have to work with a lot of city entities such as Department of Transportation, Department of Sanitation, Chicago Transit Authority, the mayor's office, Chicago Park District. It wasn't an easy feat at all. It was very stressful. That was another reason I took a step back. I did it for 5 years consecutively. You
Mhm.
have to work with Chicago Police Department. Again, I didn't have a blueprint, so it wasn't like I could pick up the phone and ask anyone, "How do you organize a race?" I learned by trial and error, and
Right.
it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy. It takes a lot. It takes 10 months. Well, then it took me 10 months to plan for Englewood 5K.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it took 10 months to execute something that's over in what 4 hours. You
Yeah.
know, the actual race is what 2 hours, and then the after party is what another 2 hours. So it takes 10 months to create 4 hours of entertainment for others.
Okay. Now, did you do this as an individual or was it part of a bigger organization?
I created my own organization, Dish the Weight and Guns.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Because when I was trying to Google it, I kept seeing something else on there, and I wasn't maybe it wasn't related to this at all. Something about Forever Fitness Chicago.
that's my
Um,
business too.
oh, okay. So I tapped into.
Yeah, those are
I didn't
yeah,
know.
those oh yeah. I don't play about my baby. I don't play about Englewood 5K. So Forever Fitness Chicago, it was my for-profit business, and Dish the Weight and Guns was my non-for-profit.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So are you still doing the Forever Fitness
I'm not.
or
I'm not. I kind of got
no?
burnt out with
Okay.
it. Um, like right now, this interview, like I did this for 5 years. We got some press, don't get me wrong, but it was like now everyone else is getting, I guess, hip to it. And it's like, I'm not gonna say over it now. It's like, okay, it's a little bit too late now. When I was in it, when I was in it during those 5 years, but now it's like,
Right.
okay, yeah, it's like everyone else is like, oh my God, Englewood, Eagle 5K. But now I'm like, look, I'm trying to buy a school now. Like the 5K race was good, but I'm trying to impact generations now.
Right. Well, I wasn't doing this at this level back then. So I was basically really, really, really getting started. Trying to
Yeah,
get
it's okay.
but I do
Yeah,
know what I was going to ask you a little bit about that too, as far as then and now, and talking about you did touch on a little bit the employment, education, housing, healthcare. Now you mentioned education as far as the trades, and I think that's great because that means that I'm learning to do something that I can work for myself. I can be self-employed. I can feed myself. I can buy my own house. I don't have to rent from nobody. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
absolutely. So I know like with Englewood 5K, that was impactful for what, 2 hours. A lot of people had never participated in a 5K. They never completed something like starting and finish something of a big feat, like to actually walk and run a 5K. So that was impactful for that day, like a temporary impact. I wanted
Okay.
a long-term impact. And I know that, with say 250 to 500 students at the construction trade school, that they can not only form their own union, they can form their own businesses, and they can build a community around them, and they can become entrepreneurs and create generational wealth themselves. So it's like multiple layers to why I want an actual school. So my it just shifted. That's it. Like, okay, I realized the power. Like, oh, if you can get 1,000 people to run, and you can get sponsors and supporters, then you could do it on a large level. So I had to grow into that mentally. I had to grow into that level mentally to get to that place. That's why I took a step back. You know, like a lot of people are like, oh my God, we missing it with 5K, but I just don't tell them that I have something greater in store. And sometimes you have to go into isolation in order to be prepared, like a cocoon, in order to become a butterfly. So Englewood 5K was good, but now I'm in a cocoon baking to be great.
Right. I think you're absolutely correct. You have to like go back to your lab, essentially, and work and rebuild and pull some things together. Um, but I'm thinking if well, maybe some of the residents could get together and do that. They could put the 5K back together and keep it going since they loved it so much. I think that's something that they could do.
Yeah.
I really do. Now, so as far as school, you said you've been working on it for a little while. How far are you into it? I mean, is it happening soon or?
So so the school that I want in particular, it won't be vacant until next year, until 2021, the middle of 2021. So I've been preparing myself, saving my money, building my personal credit, building my business credit. I have a business plan for the school. I have a board of directors that I've been in works with. So it's just now a matter of having a nice amount of savings that I could present to the city of Chicago saying, hey, I want to buy this school. It's just a matter of, again, me saving money and having myself positioned well so that in June of 2021, I could say, hey, here's X amount of money, here's collateral, credit score up, business credit score up, and I can go
Right.
from there. Yeah.
Well, is there are there like investors or people that you could approach to help support the program, or
So
what do you think about that?
my goal is acquisition. Like I've been given the vision and the task of acquiring the school. Like I'm not really worried about what happens after I acquire it. Like the acquisition part is the most important part to me. If the school doesn't work, I could change it into something else or whatever, you know. So I've made it a personal goal of my own to personally acquire it without any help. Now, once I acquire it, to operate it, to renovate it, then I'll ask for help then. But to acquire it, that's a personal goal of mine because I've never owned property and I'll be 40 next month. So I haven't used my VA loan. I'm a veteran.
Ooh,
So I'm just putting myself in a position to approach the city because in 2016 or 17, one of the schools in Englewood was sold for $200,000. So I figured the school that I want is a little bit more square footage, so I'll offer them a little bit more than $200,000. But I wanted to be in a position to be able to do that independently. That's just my personal goal. Like I said, I've never owned anything more valuable than a laptop or a car. So my first property will be a school.
right. I think that's excellent, and I
Thank you.
think that's great. The idea is to become entrepreneurs, become self-employed, and reinvest in the community. And I think that's outstanding.
Thank
So,
you.
and I agree too that you have your own personal goals that you want to reach, and the main thing is to acquire that property. And actually, I was at a meeting with the city treasurer. Did these meetings in the different communities, and she did have one in Englewood. And one of the people there, one of the bankers there, was talking about people being in business for many years and not owning the building that they have the store out of or wherever they run the business out of. And I think that is important to do that because you're paying the rent to somebody for 20 years, 30 years, and
Mm-hmm.
when paid off the property long before that.
Exactly. Exactly. So I was inspired by like Nipsey Hussle and LeBron James. Like, okay, if they can, do it big and like Serena Williams, if they can have schools, Little John has a school, if they can have a school and they're not technically quote unquote educators, then so can I. And like I said, the most important part to me is the acquisition.
Right, right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about Andrea, because she was in the military for 7 years in the Navy. That had to be quite an experience itself.
It was. It was very much so an experience. I was in the military from 2000 into 2007. So I'd served my country for a total of 7 years.
Wow.
I went to the military when I was 20 years old because I wanted to provide a better future for my son. My son is now 23 years old. So I went to the oh wow. I'm sorry. Someone's calling on a Zoom. I'm sorry. Let me get out of there. Okay, can you see me now? All right.
I see you.
Okay, so I went to the military to provide us a better future for my son. And it was one of the best decisions in my life. It changed the trajectory of my life. Before then, I was just, had graduated from high school, went to college for one semester, didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do. So I went to the military, and it was the best decision of my life. While in the military, I visited Dubai, Spain, Greece, Jebel Ali. Yeah, those were the countries I visited. I fought a war, 9/11. That was a war that I fought.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, we were on our way to St. Thomas. Yeah, we were on our way to St. Thomas when 9/11 happened. And so we turned around to go coastal shores of New York to make sure that no other planes or bombs were going to occur. And that was one of the scariest times of my life. But I'm a proud war veteran.
Yeah, girl. Wow. That's something to be there during that period. I mean, if you don't mind, can you talk a little bit about that? What was your experience there?
It was scary. I was what, 22? No, I was 21. I was 21 when 9/11 happened. And we were just going for training for exercises on our way to St. Thomas. And when the towers were bombed, when the planes flew into the towers, we were watching the news and we were alerted to be on standby. And then we went to war, I think probably like 6 months afterwards, Operation Enduring Freedom. And we went through the Suez Canal, and it was scary. At the time, honestly, I didn't know the impact that, the damage that we were doing at the time. I honestly didn't, because when the planes I was on an aircraft carrier. So when the planes left the aircraft carrier, they had bombs on them, but when they came back, they were empty. So,
Wow.
yeah, so that was traumatic afterwards. But during the time, I really, didn't understand the damage. It was like, fight for my country. You guys terrorized us, we're going to get you back. But war is way deeper than that, So that was the impact that was impactful.
Okay. What else would I like to know? Well, just I was really interested in some of the things that are happening now in Englewood since the pandemic. Do you currently live in Englewood?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how are people talking about it, the COVID-19, and I guess you would say the city responds to resources for COVID-19?
Well, we're kind of used to being left out, sadly,
Wow.
when it comes to resources. We're kind of used to being left out. Thankfully, I am in a position to, like groceries, I'm fine. Lights, gas, phone, rent, I'm fine. But I know there's others that aren't. So that's heavy. You know, it's not just Englewood, it's a lot of the underserved communities like Austin as well. I think like Dr. Willie Wilson is doing a good job with getting the mask out. My Alderman Coleman, you know, and Alderman Lopez and Alderman Moore, I think they're doing an excellent job with getting the word out as far as like food giveaways and PPE giveaways. So I can, you know, say that, you know, my alderman in particular is doing a great job. I know that some Chicago residents could have applied for rental assistance. So I haven't heard anyone receive it yet. So that's pretty much about it. The grocery stores, like I go to Whole Foods every other day. That's like the highlight of my life at this stage, going to the grocery store. So I go there. They're pretty good stocked well. They're pretty stocked well. The Aldi that I go to in Englewood, they're pretty stocked well as well. It was just an adjustment to having to wear a mask, you know, inside of stores. And it was also an adjustment to not being able to bring my reusable bags, because I finally got into the habit of taking my reusable bags to the you know, grocery store, and now they aren't allowed to use the reusable bag. So it's like, okay, you know, when you leave your house, you're like, okay, keys check, mask check, gloves check. So it's just a transition that I think us all of us had to endure.
Right, because I find too, if I go out the door and forget the mask, and I'm standing there thinking, should I just go? Should I just keep going? And I'm like, no, you have to go back because that's something that we all need right now. And you know, just as you said, every single thing is not the way it used to be. You could just keep going, and
Mm-hmm.
now you might wind up sick and in the hospital. So, but I think I found that to be true too for Whole Foods. They seem to be pretty stocked.
Yeah.
But they where I'm up at on the north side, they have lines to get in there,
Oh wow.
and yeah, they have lines, and I was kind of surprised to see that the shelves are kind of empty too in a lot of cases. So I guess people are
Okay.
hoarding no matter what. Um, and I haven't been all these was a line for Aldi too.
No, there hasn't been a line for Aldi.
So
There hasn't been a line for Aldi at all. Thank God.
cool because I just gave up. I gave up on them. I gave up on the dollar stores because there's always a line. So I don't know. Maybe it's the time that I'm going. You know, it's just when people have the money
Yeah.
to get out there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So now, well, what business are you doing right now? I think I saw something that you were
Well,
doing.
at the
So
moment, I'm just consulting. I've started like 10 businesses since 2013, and a lot of them weren't successful. I learned the process. So I started a business of
mhm.
starting businesses. So when people want to go like to LegalZoom, they come to me instead. I've kind of mastered the paperwork aspect of starting a business, because I've done it so much for myself. And I realized that others need this help. You know, they don't have access or can't afford a lawyer. And it's like, okay, well, this form took me 5 minutes to complete, you know, so I made a business out of that by consulting and helping others start their business.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with starting a lot of businesses, because I think you just keep going till one takes.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think that's what you have to do. And
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about all these people who are successful, like hugely successful now, and they talk about all the times that they tried something and failed. So I think
Yeah.
keep going. Okay.
I agree. I
So
agree. There is success and failure. Like I didn't realize that. You have to excuse me. I'm going downstairs to get a package, but I'm still here. But I realized that there is success and failure. You know, people I felt a little bad. You know, I think it took a blow to my self-esteem somewhat. when I didn't, succeed at those businesses. But looking back, I learned the process. I learned a lot when it came to business by going through the process of it. I haven't attended no one school, for business. My degrees aren't in they aren't in business. My degrees are in criminal justice. So yeah, so I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way about business. So I'm happy in the place that I am right now, in the space that I am right now. I'm happy and satisfied, honestly.
Well, you said something really profound. There is success and failure, and
Oh
I think
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never thought about it like that, honestly. But
There's
yeah,
definitely success and failure. Definitely.
and if you think about it that way, I mean,
So
it's like never.
thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shout you. I'm on a Zoom call.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally fine.
All right. So I'm gonna shout you out. You already know how I get down.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So as you know, this quarantine has got us just like eating. And a lot of people have emerging businesses. So I just supported one of my friends. She's making desserts. So I just grabbed a dozen of her infamous desserts. So yeah, I'm back now. I'm all yours. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So what kind of businesses she? I mean, what kind of desserts does she make? Since we talked about it.
Well, the first dessert that she made me was a banana pudding, and that was delicious. And now she just delivered me 4 different kind of cheesecakes, cheesecake cups. Yeah, like turtles, key lime, strawberry, and peanut butter. Yeah, so I'm happy. I've gained about 7 pounds during quarantine, but I don't complain about it. I would rather be in a position to gain weight than having to lose weight from starvation. So
Hey, well, that's a great way to. I'm so optimistic.
yeah.
I think maybe more than 7. I have to say that.
Yeah.
So the business that you is there a way for people to get in contact with you in case they need consultation or
Sure.
something like that? Do
I'm
you
on
have like
Facebook. I'm on Facebook
okay.
at Andrea NaTay Drane. So they can email me at Andrea at GoIntelPro, GONTELLPRO.com. So Go and Tell Pro is the name of my business. And I got Go and Tell Pro from COINTELPRO, back in like the 60s when J. Edgar Hoover was in administration. They launched this secret program called COINTELPRO. It was designed to go into Black communities and like Black organizations and disassemble them, break them up, to break them down. Like they did investigations on like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. So I said I would name my business Go with a G. Go and Tell Pro. Like if you break it down, Go and Tell Professional. So I go into the Black communities and do the opposite. Tell them the business information they need to help build them up. So that's why I named my business Go and Tell Pro. Like I'm going to tell everyone this is how you do it. Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's awesome. I like that whole concept. Yeah, because we
Thank you.
have a whole lot of ugly history with the administration. With
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the opposite. Instead of going into the Black community to tear them down, go into Black communities to build them up. So
Exactly. Okay.
So I have a website, goandtellpro.com. Also, people can get in contact with me at Andrea at goandtellpro.com. That's GONTELLPRO.
Okay, say that again. G-O what?
GONTELLPRO.
Okay. So, and what type of things are you going to help them with it when they come with, as far as starting a business or, as you
Starting
said,
a So they can start a business like their LLC, the EIN, 501c3s, non-for-profits, permits. I know how to navigate the permits here in the city of Chicago, even in other states, establishing their business, help them establish business credit, like seller's permit, resellers permits, things of that nature. Basically paperwork, business paperwork. I am not an accountant and I do not give legal advice. So let me put that disclaimer out there.
so now you charge, of course, for these services, correct?
I do.
Right.
I do. I am affordable. That's something that I kind of picked up as a social entrepreneur because I do have a certain demographic. So I do charge cheaper than, other places because I want, it to be affordable for them. So like I charge $99 an hour. And during that hour, I can get so much done for you, so that's my model, my business model. It's been working pretty well for me. Word of mouth. I've been getting a lot of business due to word of mouth. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, my business has picked up tremendously. So a lot of people are looking for another streams of income and they want their paperwork to be legit so that they can, like we discussed a little bit earlier, people operate as a business, but aren't technically a business, when you look at the books or if they have books or, we know our craft. We don't know business that well. So I just try to help, break down business things to people where they can understand it and it's not so intimidating.
Right.
Like a business plan, profit and loss statement, like when you apply for like grants and loans, they ask for, DUNS number, SAM's number, NASIC's code. They ask for those things, 3-year tax returns, profit and loss statements, a business plan, a marketing plan. People ask for those things.
Right. Right. And a couple of those things that you mentioned, I've only heard of them maybe once, and I did not know what they are. I still don't. I still don't.
Exactly.
But you're right. They do ask for every one
Yeah.
of those things, and I think that's why a lot of people in business don't stay in business very long because they don't know how to manage. And you have to have
Exactly.
that business together, otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going to run into a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's truly um, important. That business plan, that profit and loss statement. Um,
A
wow.
DUNS number, a
Yeah.
SAM's code. Yeah. Like if you want to do
I,
contracting,
huh.
if you want to do
Okay.
like contracting with the state or the city, you need a DUNS number. You need a NASIC's code. You need a SAM's number. You need those things to establish you as a business. I encounter a lot of people that don't even have business bank accounts. They've been operating with their personal accounts. You see, so
Yeah.
I just make it, where it isn't intimidating. Like I break it down where they don't feel dumb. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Well, it's okay for you not to know. Now you know. Just try to make people feel warm and confident in their business. So far, so good.
Yeah, and that's important too that you approach people like that so that you don't make them feel like, "What? You didn't know that? You've been doing this all this time?" Um,
Exactly.
because as you said, if you're in business, say for instance, the lady who does the baking, you know your craft. You can do that. You can outbake anybody. But if
Yeah.
really managing your books and managing your business and the growth, that's where it's going to matter.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that growth is so important. And kind of, it puts me in mind of like during this pandemic, and a lot of the smaller businesses are saying that they didn't get their hands on the money that was supposed to be out there for small businesses. So
Hmm.
I don't know if it's that our communities didn't hear about it, Well, we didn't
It's a
have access
combination
to the
of two
information,
things. It's a combination of two things. One, a lot of their paperwork wasn't in order. Okay. A lot of their paperwork wasn't in order. That's one. And two, the system, the program in itself, because we are in a pandemic, it wasn't thought out all the way. You know, like the big companies such as like Roof Chris, Pie Bellies, they were given loans, the paycheck protection program. So they had to go back and do another round. Like, you know, the big companies, the big corporations sucked it up. So people with just like one employee or two employees, you know, kind of got left out, which included a lot of our African American and minority owned businesses. So luckily there are funds available now. And they have been working with some banks and they're trying to get the word out. So they've improved. I can't say, you know, like SBA, they have improved. But it's definitely still funds available. But you can't just, you know, apply for these funds and you don't have a EIN. You know, you it's just, you know, they don't know.
Yeah, you have to show.
So therefore, that's where Go and Tell Pro comes in at.
So yeah, I did see City Treasurer again was putting out messages on Facebook and saying, you know, share the information, let people know that they put together something for small businesses where they may only have to 0 to, you know, 4 employees or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, small business folks, we got to get on it. But I think, you know what I kind of feel like too, that we got to do a lot of outreach, you know, almost store to store. You know, it's got to come down to that basic level of going in, talking to the owner and seeing what their needs are and help them know what's available to them.
Absolutely. Outreach. That's something that I've stumbled upon over the last 7 years of being a business owner. The marketing and engagement and the outreach piece. A lot of business owners lack that. They think so much, let me buy the supplies for my cakes, or let me buy the equipment for my band. They don't think, let me pay for marketing. Let me put 20% of my budget up for marketing. They don't think, you know, a lot of people don't think that way. And that's actually how I thrive. Like, I don't have any business cards. My website for Go and Tell Pro, I need to what's it called? I need to relaunch it. You know, I get a lot of word of mouth. Yeah, so the marketing aspect, like, but on my personal Facebook page, I'm constantly giving away valuable jewels. I'm constantly giving away good content. I'm always posting good content. So people will just come in my inbox like, hey, I'm interested in starting a business. I want to do a not-for-profit, and that's how I've been getting my business from, you know, being engaged on social media. And I learned marketing through Englewood 5K because I concentrated on the 60621 and 60636 area code, zip codes. I mean, I by targeting those area codes, zip codes. I'm sorry. I sent, I had billboards up. I sent flyers in the mailbox. I had street teams knocking on doors. We were on the radio, you know, Facebook. I did sponsored ads for 60621, 60636. So I learned marketing the hard way. And now I do marketing plans. I, you know, compile marketing plans for others. And like, you'll be surprised in the amount of business owners who don't have a marketing budget, let alone with a marketing plan. So I think we need to improve with that.
Okay, I agree. Even if it's something that comes down to, say, a booklet, you know, with just something to check off, that can be passed to the business owners so that they know what's available to them and what they need to have together, just like all the time in case they need something. You know,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I am so impressed with that.
Thank
I
you.
really, yeah, that takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of initiative. And I'm always proud of people who are take a lot of pride in where they come from. And I think that's a great thing because we as minorities, we're always being put upon and as far as or stereotyped, I should say, and nothing, people don't from the messages that go across the news waves. A lot of times, it's not favorable when it comes to us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted a show like this, and I always tell people, tell your own story from
Yeah.
you because you know what you live every day, and we know what we need and what we have and who we are, and we should say it. We should always stand
Hmm.
up and say who we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so again, everybody, if you need help with any of those things that we talked about, starting a business, um, just getting organized and knowing what paperwork that you need to complete to be a legitimate business, you can reach out to Andrea NaTay Drane at gointelpro.com. And then also at Andrea at GoTellPro. Is it .com or?
.com. Yeah. Gointelpro.com.
Okay. Yeah, so she has a lot of great information, and plus, you should follow her on Facebook because she does some nice promo. I guess a minute or so that you can
Yeah.
get some information. Like that. Yeah, check that out and see what you can do to help yourself get in there, jump in there, and become a independent business owner.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, everybody. I think, well, I don't know if anybody has any questions for you. I don't see anything going across the screen. But is there anything else that you like to add before you go, or?
I think I covered all the topics. My military background, me being a teenage parent. Well, obviously, if my son is 23, but my roots here in Englewood. Why did I start Englewood 5K? What I'm up to, how they can get in contact with me. I think we covered everything. And I do appreciate you for thinking about little old me, having me on your show.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like I'm honestly I did it without realizing. It's like the last I don't know how many guests they come from Englewood, and then I still have more to come on who are from Englewood. So I'm like, what? Look at me. I
Nice.
didn't do it on purpose,
Nice. We
but
go
it
hard
just
for our community.
you guys are doing things. So I mean, that's impressive to me, and I think that people should know. Saying you're performing um the different tasks that people need. We need these type of things. It's not like you're sitting around talking about it. You're doing something.
Yeah.
So people need that. We need people about action and not just talk. Meetings and nothing
Absolutely.
out of it. So that's definitely a huge plus, and people need to take notice. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody. For the show, you can find us on Thursdays usually at 7 p.m. YouTube Live. And as I always mention that I'm always trying to find other ways to do more stuff, but right now we kind of can't because we can't go anywhere. We can't have our show or do anything anyplace else. So as soon as we can, we'll be doing that and doing some more creative things with Shypanther and Friends. And I just ask that you follow us and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and your neighbor. And God bless. Have a good evening, Andrea.
Peace. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you.